What's up? It's the one and only hip hop gamer, Hot 97, Logitech G. Now listen, it ain't every day you get a chance to talk to someone that took New York City to the next level, bro. The next level. We always watch plenty of award shows and things of that nature and conventions and things. But my man Dan, the one and only Dan, was able to bring it with Play NYC. So I want everybody to show they love, put your hands together for the one and only Dan Butchko. What's up, baby? How you feel, son?
What's up? It's so good to see you. I'm so excited that Play NYC is finally coming up after all these months of planning.
Yo, bro, so listen, let's get into it, man. Like,
Yeah.
what was it like? Like just going through this whole process, man, because everybody can't wait to get back outside and just, do everything in person. So what has the process been like for you getting this up and running? Just walk us through that, the ups and the downs, bro. Talk to us.
Yeah, it's been a lot to do for the past few months. We first announced that we were coming back live and in person way back in April. And when we made that announcement, it looked like things were going in a great direction. People were getting vaccinated. And fortunately, New York itself has been ahead of the curve when it comes to giving things like guidance and regulation for events to be returning.
Okay.
And so while this has been sort of like an evolving process in the past 3 months, there were a couple of things that we came out right out of the gate with that we just knew we needed to do, which was number one, require vaccination for folks that are going to be there. The only exception that we're making is for kids under the age of 16, in which case we'll accept a COVID negative result.
Okay.
But other than that, we sort of like started with that as our real core of what we're requiring to make sure that we're doing the best that we can do to keep people safe. And then from there, it sort of evolved, and we've added tons and tons of different things into place with the show floor, the way it's laid out, the COVID screenings that we're doing at the front, to make sure that we're not just keeping people safe, but we're also keeping people comfortable, because for a lot of folks, this is the first time they're going back to a big event in 2 years. It's their first video game event or convention in a long time. And so, we have to look at things sort of in two ways. How do we keep people safe, and how do we keep people comfortable? And so that's where every little detail on the Play NYC show floor, which we just finalized and started putting out there last week, is set up so that people are safe from a COVID perspective to the best degree that we can possibly do, but also comfortable. So we've done things like widening the walkways for people so that people aren't as on top of each other as they usually would be at an event like this. We limited the capacity for exhibitors a little bit so that there are a little bit less games than we've had in previous years, but people will be able to get to more of them, and it won't be as congested as it's been before. We're asking our developers and exhibitors to wipe down controllers and headsets and anything that basically people are touching throughout the day in between gameplay. Obviously, we also include tabletop games. So we've had to talk to each individual exhibitor about how they can keep their spaces clean and safe along the way. And then there's the task of communicating that out to everybody and doing so in a way that is like really reassuring and making sure that folks know that we are following all the CDC guidelines, all the New York guidelines. It's been pretty stable in terms of the last couple of months with the CDC requirements and the local New York requirements. People will be required to wear masks while they're in the space. So it'll look a little bit different. People will be sitting there playing games and having a blast, but unfortunately won't be able to see as many smiles on faces, but that's okay. It's what we need to do,
Got you. Yo, man, first of all, y'all did y'all due diligence, you know what I'm saying, just to get this like back to us. So first of all, we appreciate it, because trust me, I'm definitely a person that understands those long nights and the things that people don't see in order to experience what we experience. So I much love and respect to you on that, bro. So now my next major question, man. One of the things that I love about what Play NYC represents, it's like giving a big stage to the little person. Like that, and to me, the bigger the stage get, the more valuable the little person become. and then you get a chance to see their transition. So it's kind of like if you look at the NBA. Before you get to NBA, you got college or you go to high school, but you go through a process before you
Yeah.
get, like to the NBA. So what has it been like working with so many different developers and making sure you get the best out of them so that they have their best opportunity to go to the next step and the next level? But Play NYC is that platform that you got to go through before you get to the next level.
Right. Yeah. So when we first made the decision and the announcement that Play NYC was going to return in August and it was going to be in person again, sort of step number 2 right after we made that announcement was to make sure that we got on the phone with every possible developer who wanted to be a part of Play NYC this year to talk through with them, like, what are their goals, what are their concerns, what are they looking for, what do they need, and that was the kind of thing, I work with a team of 4 or 5 people now. I started Play NYC now 5 years ago, and for me this is like a very important and like particular kind of year. And so it was me on the phone with all of those folks in that process. I think it was like 60 or 70 different developers, to make sure that we're answering their questions, of course, around COVID safety and whatnot, but also to find out after all of this time away, what do they need? What are they looking for? And how can we best set up the show to help them achieve those goals? And so, when we're doing things like laying the developers on the show floor and picking out, where people are going to be located, we're taking into consideration, is it a VR game? Is it a tabletop game? Is it a multiplayer game? Is it a narrative game that you might need a little bit more quiet around? And so all of those different pieces of gaming content that are sort of hidden within each of the exhibitor spots are all taken into account when we actually lay out the show floor. And so we have folks like, I know the guys over at Decoy Games. That is a super exciting booth with Swim Sanity in it, usually is a huge crowd pleaser. So like, we know we need to put them on a corner so that they're not sort of like, bombarding the other developers that are right next to them. So it's great to have them on a corner. There's other developers who have multiplayer games where we place them in spaces where, they want to make sure that they can have a crowd around their booth without, clogging up the walkways, since we want to make sure people are feeling safe and comfortable as they're walking through. Tabletop games are a big part of Play NYC, as they are every year. And we decided to put all of those folks into the same area. So, okay. Like where to go and sort of what the vibe is going to be when you get over to the tabletop zone. And then things like VR, first of all, you can't put a bunch of VR games right next to each other because they'll all interfere with one another.
Definitely can't do that.
Yeah. And our venue has like a couple spaces too that are like a little bit darker and the ceiling's a little bit lower. And so that's a great space to have folks that are, using VR or using something that like doesn't require as much light or may not want as much light. So that's a lot of the work that we have to do in the lead up to Play NYC, and it all sort of culminates in the placement around the actual Metropolitan Pavilion. But we're not just like some events company here at Playcrafting. We're a network of developers, and so all throughout the process, when they're submitting their forms to actually be a part of Play NYC, we collect things like screenshots and video gameplay and their logos and all that kind of stuff so that we can include them through all of Playcrafting's channels in the lead up to the event. So if you look at Playcrafting on Twitter and in our email list and everything like that, you'll see we're like shouting from the high heavens at all times, like, check out these developers, check out their games, they're going to be there. And then I think the last piece of the puzzle is our stream. So we do a stream every year with Play NYC. It's like an integral part of the actual in-person experience, but also a great way to experience it from home. And so developers, if you're signed on as an exhibitor, you're getting like free promo spots on the stream. So you'll see like gameplay footage and trailers all throughout the weekend, in addition to pre-recorded and live panels and interviews and tournaments. And we have a couple charity pieces in there too. So there's a lot of different ways that developers and their games can plug into Play NYC. And that's where we sort of get creative with how can we make sure they're coming through in the best way on the show floor for people that are there, on the stream for people that can't be there, and on all of our channels in the lead up, during and after the event to make sure people know all about who's there, since it is, to your point, very much a show that is sort of local feel and a lot of independent and smaller studios, in addition to some larger companies, but the vast majority of developers and their games are from independent studios.
Yeah, nah, gotcha. And that's another reason why I love it. Cause it's like it makes me think about hip hop. You know, you got like the big stars that's on the big stage, but you got a lot of these dudes and a lot of these girls that's underground and they got
Yeah.
bars and they just need that shot. And I felt like ever since your vision, we had plenty of conversations about this years ago. Ever since you shared your vision about what you want this to be and to see what it is right now, me personally, man, I love it. I'm proud of you. I'm excited. I'm happy. This is what's needed, bro. So I
Yeah.
thank you again, man, for fighting for it. So my next question, bro, and this is a question that I had for the E3 committee, you know, PAX. I had this question for a lot of people. So Play NYC is something that happens once a year.
Yeah.
But throughout the whole year, like what is the next step in the branded plan of Play NYC? Because honestly, I would love it if we had like a Play NYC, but like a daily interaction with that brand instead of we gotta wait a whole year just to have this experience. I think it'd be great if we had something that leads up to
Yeah.
that major experience. What are your thoughts on that? Any plans to have more groundwork throughout the entire year instead of just one part of the year?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a couple of things that we already do have in place that sort of extend what we do with Play NYC outward from just the actual convention and event. One thing is our graffiti games program, which
Mm.
is a way that we are amplifying and lifting up the voices of underrepresented developers from across the country. We
Wow.
basically put out a form, folks submit and nominate people, and then 5 developers were selected to each receive $5,000 in funding to actually make games that debut at Play NYC. And so that's a program that is sponsored by Rockstar Games, who everybody knows and loves from
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead and everything. And Rockstar and those 5 developers have been working together for the past couple of months, providing mentorship, feedback, like play testing, that kind of thing in the lead up to Play NYC. So that is one program that happens, outside of just the event. There is like a really big touch point and sort of debut of those games and showcase of those developers at Play NYC. But it there's no way we could achieve what happens with graffiti games like in just 48 hours at like the actual
Yeah.
convention. So it is more of an actual developer program now, probably more so than it ever has been before. Um, and I think outside of that, we do, when we're talking to different sponsors and folks who come in and join us for Play NYC, we're basically talking to them about doing more than just, show up at the convention, talk to
Mm.
developers, that kind of thing. So Rockstar is one great example where they, are working with developers in the lead up to it. And then they're also going to be joining us for things like Global Game Jam coming up in
Mm.
January, which is a huge event that we do with developers each year. We have Unreal Engine who joins us each year. They're back again this year with Play NYC.
Yeah.
But again, it's more than just Play NYC. They are coming back again for Global Game Jam in the fall. We're going to provide a couple of free to the public classes on Unreal Engine as a result. So we
Wow.
already do things around Play NYC that sort of plug it in outwards. Um, I think that like with Play NYC this year, um, it being the first one back after 2 years, we're doing a lot of like what we did in 2019 that worked so well.
Mm.
Unfortunately, because of the pandemic in 2020, we had like a whole 10-month plan for Play NYC that we had sort of already rolled out.
Mm.
That pandemics happen, and so we couldn't do that in 2020. This year was more about let's bring back what worked so well in 2019,
Mm.
find ways to sort of create branches outward for the developer community with Play NYC. And now that this is like the first one back, we're in a great position to sort of re-announce the next Play NYC and the programs that are attached to it in the fall of this year, and not like just a few months before, which we had to do this year. And so you'll see more and more of that like growth outward from just Play NYC into the other activities that Playcrafting does, like our global game jam, our events, our classes. There's a lot of stuff that we do each year, and we really wanted to use Play NYC as the first big in-person return during and after the pandemic. And from here, we're going to be like building out things back into place from there.
Got you, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. This is overwhelming and exciting, son. Especially with Rockstar Games coming in with the 5Gs. Yo, that's crazy, son. So now I got something for you, bro. So check this out. I think it'll be real dope. That you tell me, but you got 8-bit. You got the 8-bit award show. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Keighley, he has his game awards. You got Dice. You know, you have so many different award shows now in the gaming industry as a whole. So my question to you is, if there was a battle where you had all the award show hosts or like award show creators battle in like Halo Infinite or something like that, like some big game, like who would be on your squad or who would you want to battle? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what would that be like, bro?
Yeah, I would love to battle Jeff. I know Jeff. He's awesome. He's been a huge fan of Play NYC, and we've talked about it a lot in the past. I would love to battle him. I feel like I would, as much as fun as that would be, I would immediately lose because I am not very good at first-person shooters. But it would at least be fun to like play a few rounds and just go down immediately. So yeah, I'd love to battle Jeff. I also, when you're looking at the other award shows that are like Playcrafting's own Bit Awards,
yes,
I like to look over at Bit Summit in Japan. That is like the Japan's version of like an indie convention, and I think they have awards attached to it as well. I would love to get some like transcontinental sort of battles going too. So it's, we're extending and showing that gaming is not just a US thing, but it's a worldwide thing. Get some Gamescom people involved. You know what I mean?
See, we're on the same page. So like part of the reason why I asked that question is because if you take everybody from everywhere and bring them onto one stage, now everybody get to know one another in terms of the followers getting to know everybody else, and it just makes this big huge splash, and it's something that we celebrate in terms of our culture and the fun of it. So I think that right there would be real crazy. So I got a couple more questions, then we can wrap it up. But my next question for you is, and this is major, I did a video on this, but I would love your insight on this, right? So I want to show mad love and respect to Miss Ellie McCarthy. She's the vice president of branding for EA Games, right? Now, she recently made a statement that I disagree with, but I want to see what you think about this, because I think it's very serious that we all should talk about. So she said that there's no such thing as a gamer, and there's no such thing as the games industry anymore. Everything is just interactive. That's it. Everything is just interactivity. There's no such thing as a gamer, and there's no such thing as the games industry. What do you think about that statement? Like, how do you feel about it? How do you respond to something like that?
Yeah, I disagree with it. I think that, we have what I like to call hardcore gamers, or folks that are like constantly playing games. They are in the know about the latest in games, the latest technology. Those folks never went away, and they've always been there. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like, duh, but I think, to her point, what we've done is we've actually just added to that group. And so now I don't like to use the word gamer too much, but that's not to take away from the definition of what it originally was. It's more just the label itself.
Yes.
Because what we've now added to that original group of folks, which were like you and me, part of this sort of subculture loving games, but it was like weird or different or not cool to like games for so long, Now we have folks that are, middle-aged, their parents, they're older, all different gender and ethnicity representations, who would never call themselves a gamer, quote unquote, but are playing tons and tons of games all the time, So that's where I think that core group of folks like you and me are there, have always been there, and have also been added to, but there are tons of different kinds of people that have been added to it who also play games, but may not refer to themselves as a quote unquote gamer because it may not resonate with the kinds of games that they play or something like that.
Got you. And I needed to get that feedback just to see what everybody thinks about it. Like I said, I made a video about it already, and my main thing is the identifier. For example, if when Xbox and Warner Brothers sent DJ Khaled the Toon Squad with the Xbox Series S in it, like he thought it was a speaker. He didn't even know it was a system. And the thing is, yeah, it looked like a speaker, but if you're a gamer, you know what it is because like you said, we're in the know. So my thing is identifiers is how we operate in life. For example, we know what Play NYC like is. So because you know what it is, that's why a lot of people want to go, and then you can inform other people that's not in the know why they should be there. So that's why I wanted to just get your feedback on it, because of course gaming is the #1 form of entertainment. It's the biggest thing. You got people that may only play one game and that's what they love. It's fine, but it's people like us that keeps it authentic so we can provide guidance to the way things should be, because this is still our culture. That's the reason why I wanted to have that dialogue with you, to see what you thought about it, because I think it's something important considering her position.
And it's so cool. And it's so cool too, because I like obviously Play NYC has the word play in it. My company Play Crafting has the word play in it. In the end, it's all about the people who play. And I agree with me that we want as many people playing games, loving games as possible. I think it requires an understanding that within that vast group of probably over 1 billion people who play games on the planet, there are so many different levels. It's like circles that are overlapping and inside of each other. And there are still hardcore gamers, people who eat, breathe, and sleep video games at all times, like you and me. And then there are people who are playing games they are not that, and they can stay that way. Great. Just play Candy Crush on your phone, keep going. That's awesome. But you can also dabble and you can go deeper into it. You can get a dedicated hardware. You can get super immersed in the overall culture. It's cool because you don't have to fall under a certain bucket anymore to play games. You don't have to have the most expensive system to play games. You don't have to read all the latest news, but you can. And there is a whole other level of excitement and drama that sort of comes along with it that I think you and I really appreciate. And the more we can bring into the fold around that, the better.
Absolutely. So I got a couple more questions, bro. We gonna wrap it up. My next question, and this is important, and this is, I hope you say yes, bro. I hope you say yes. If you don't, if you don't say yes, I'm gonna be upset. I'll be hurt. So can we confirm? This is drum roll, baby, drum roll. Can we confirm that we will get at least a hands-on experience at Play NYC of the Steam Deck?
Oh.
Come on, bro. Come on, talk to me, son, please.
I would love to be able to say yes, but probably not.
Yo, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. I need the Steam Deck, bro. I need it, bro.
I'm excited for it too.
Yo, bro, I'm going crazy over this joint. I'm thinking about it from a standpoint of just playing all these games. You got PlayStation titles that's now on PC, so I'm playing those, the Game Pass, emulators. I don't care. I want it all, bro. What? I was just hoping that would be a surprise thing at Play NYC, bro.
That's where I need your help with it, because what we do here at Playcrafting around Play NYC is we spend months and months shouting to everyone, you have to come, show up for the players in New York, in and around New York itself. And that's where, that message resonates so easily with all of the developers and the companies and the studios that are based here. That's how we have Rockstar. That's how we have Avalanche. And that's how we have all of these awesome independent game developers too. But the louder that we can be about having folks like Valve come out to Play NYC to show the Steam Deck, to show the latest in their software content. It doesn't have to start with an exclusive debut of something with Steam Deck. It can start with just some folks over at Valve or other companies to just come on out and attend. There's always a first step, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think the more that we can all shout to say, hey, come pay attention to the players, the gamers, everybody who loves games in New York City, the more it becomes likely that we'll be able to get some exclusives like that in the future.
Got you. Well, I got a bunch of connections. I'm gonna yell at somebody. Like I'm like out of love. Out of
Sometimes
love.
it just takes some yelling. Let's do it.
Out of love. But I'm gonna yell at somebody. I'm like, yo, look, like I love you and I need this, and you can't say no. So we got to figure this out because bro, that would have been huge. So now for my final question, right? So shout out to my man Galen Davis. I spoke with him over about Quixel and stuff like that, and Unreal Engine and everything. And I was saying that I know we have global game jams, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know we have all these events that showcase development talent in a big forum. What I would love to do, and I want to see if Play NYC could actually have this, but it'd be great to actually have like a game development battle, and you got people that show up, and it's a battle. It's like, look, we friends, I love you, and everything. It's kind of like the NBA. You got the All-Star game. We there, we love you, we having a good time. But at the end of the day, after the All-Star game, I'm still trying to murder you. Like I want to win. You know what I'm saying? I want the chip. I want to win the title. So, how realistic is it, or would you be interested in having a Play NYC game development battle show, like an actual game development battle show where it's this development team versus this development team, and like they got a battle for a big pot of money, like you know what I'm saying, like really, and if you lose, you lost, you get nothing, like you know what I mean, like you know what I'm saying, it's something real. How realistic, like, can we make this happen for Play NYC? Have you even thought about it?
Yeah, I think it's completely doable in the future. We do a lot of like game development competitions all year round with Playcrafting. So there's Global Game Jam, which you mentioned. That one's largely for fun and for prizes more so than like straight up funding. Okay. But like there's a lot of partners that we work with, like Google Stadia, who we did a game jam with a few months ago, and we had 10 teams of devs from across the country. They made local multiplayer games for Stadia, and 3 of them received additional funding. And so that whole model is like that competition model is already in place. It's just a matter of finding the right way to plug it in at Play NYC. I think the earliest sort of rumblings of that in terms of this year's Play NYC at the Playcrafting booth, we do have a great developer. His name is Neil Sverry from New York. He did this with us in 2019 as well. He's going to be inside the Playcrafting booth building a new mini game all weekend long. And then at the end of the weekend on our stage and stream, we're going to debut what he just made, and people are going to be able to play in it. So we already have sort of like one piece of that puzzle in place. And we have like the mechanism over here with partners like Stadia that we work with pretty frequently. And just a matter of like bringing it together and doing that at Play NYC. And most importantly, when we're doing sort of like live game development and we're having some kind of competition aspect, being able to have people who were attending actually play what was just built right after is, to me, that is just mind-blowing each time, because people see games and like you can't make Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Call of Duty, like that takes hundreds or thousands of people over the course of years to make a game that is that complex and that large. But you can make really cool, polished, interactive, fun, even local multiplayer games in a very short period of time if you have the right ingredients and the right support and the right folks in place. And so I think it's only a matter of time before we do it at Play NYC.
I can't wait to see it. I'll be right there, front row seat, because I would love to see that, bro. So, Dan, I thank you, man. Is there anything you want to share with the people before we get up out of here, bro? Talk to them.
Yeah, Play NYC is August 7th and 8th at the Metropolitan Pavilion in Chelsea and Manhattan. I encourage everybody to go to play-nyc.com. That's play-nyc.com for full information and to get tickets. It is a super, super fun event. This is our 5th year in a row doing it. I can't believe it's been 5 years now. And I think it's going to be a really special one because it is the first one back after all this time. I think we are one of, if not the first larger scale North American gaming events to return. And there's so much exciting opportunity and, of course, responsibility in doing that. So if you are vaccinated and comfortable, come on through to Play NYC. If you can't make it this year for whatever reason, just head over to the Playcrafting Twitch channel, and we're going to be streaming at least 5 hours of content each day, this Saturday and Sunday. And Play NYC is just one of many things that we do at Playcrafting. So if you're interested in learning how to make games or checking out some of the other games that we've made and our developers are working on in our network, just go to playcrafting.com and you'll see all of the great stuff that we have going on year round, since Play NYC is just one very big, yes, but just one piece of that overall puzzle. And it's, we're a come one, come all. Come play games with us, try to make games, just have a good time. And I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed.
Yo, that's what I'm talking about, man. Give it up for my boy, my brother, Dan Butchko in the building. Play NYC, Play Crafted for life. I love you, bro. We definitely going to talk a lot more, you know what I'm saying, once we get off cam. But I appreciate you, man. So look, that's it. It's the one and only HipHopGamer, Logitech G, on your Hot 97 every day. That's my word. And we out of here, baby. Peace.